says that we're live.
Nice.
But YouTube doesn't say that we're live. Oh, yes, it does.
Yep, now it does. I'm there.
Cool.
Yep, there's the shit. Hell yeah.
Share.
It's weird with Dave in the fucking comments.
I know it. Been missing that guy in the comments.
Fuck yeah. I want to see if he can go on a typing rant in the middle of the show. And with the OSU red, it's the Last Dance red, tribute to Michael Jordan. Make fucking Don's eyes bleed. How dare you call that OSU red? That's fucking sick, man. And my kids go to Michigan Center, and their school colors, they're the Cardinals, they're red. So you need to back up, man. You're really pushing some color buttons here, buddy.
Haha. All right, you ready to kick the show off,
dude? No, seriously, fuck Dave, fuck Keith. I fucking put red up, and now it's a.
Well, red it is.
I fucking hate him. Normally it's Jason I hate. Today it's Dave. That's weird. Well. That's weird. I don't know how that doesn't sit well. And now I'm hating on Keith. I don't like myself right now.
You are really kind of being a dick.
Wasn't even trying.
All right, buddy. Kick it off. You got the notes?
Yep.
We're ready.
30 seconds. Now. What's up, everybody? Big Lovin with my man Don DellaSnooch. Welcome to episode 11 of the Escape Pod. Gateway, Ironman, gateway to the Marvel Universe. Greetings. I'll drink to that.
All right. You can find us, as always, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all your favorite podcasting apps like iTunes, Tunein, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. Check us out on the Podbelly Network. Look for all of the ATSW family on Podbelly. Shout-outs?
A few shout-outs. Got to definitely give a shout-out, first and foremost, to the Mothership, the All Things Star Wars podcast. You can find them on live when they do their show, Sundays or Mondays on YouTube. Or you can find them on the Podbelly Network and on iTunes and wherever else you can get your podcasts. They're on all of those. Check out Used and Abused. They're a music podcast. They're a couple of our buddies, a man, his wife, and him and his wife. They do good things. Check out Layman's Terms. I like how you fixed that in the notes. Thanks for doing that. I didn't always have to read it and fix it now. So it's officially Layman's Terms. Check that out. And then Big Swede taking over the world. Checking out Big Swede's Excellent Adventure, Tactical Swede. Then check out our guys. If you're a beer snob, not a beer snob, beer connoisseur, the Brew Guys on YouTube. Excuse me. They've been doing some things in the studio. I seen on their Instagram. They posted some pics of some things happening within the workshop there. So, yeah. But with that being said, let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, for first thing I got up on movie news, did everybody get to see Clone Wars episode 1 of the new last 4 episodes? Holy shit. Did you see it yet?
Yeah, dude. It was awesome. I just switched over and I was catching up in the chat, and it was, but yeah, dude, wow. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long wait this season for the quality that we expected, from watching the trailers and shit. But you can see that that's where they got all of the footage for the trailer from like episode 1 of the last 4.
Oh yeah, it's like the Comic-Con trailer where they brought it back and they're like, oh yeah, we did a little thing. Here it is. You're like, that's where all the meat and potatoes was. Like everything leading up to this really wasn't that important. I enjoyed the Bad Batch, a little bit of it. It drug too long, but I understand it's cartoon, whatever, this, that, and the other thing. The Ahsoka thing, okay, I get what we're trying to prove, but like, I didn't need to see that. I understand why it was there, but this grabbed me. Some asshole was cutting onions when I was watching it. I don't know if that was happening within your home, but somebody was trying to cut some onions. Sure. I was like, no, come on now.
On my upper lip.
Yeah, I'm not going to have any of that. I'm not going to have any of that. But it was a good-ass episode, man. It was a real good-ass episode.
I don't know about the Bad Batch, Dave. I kind of liked some of the Bad Batch. The leader of the Bad Batch I wasn't a fan of. Can't remember what his name was. Was it Rambo-y character?
Yeah, that's what I thought of him. He was like skinny Rambo.
Yeah, but the rest of them I kind of dug for different reasons.
I like the tech dude just because, I don't know, the tech dude, and he had a different kind of helmet than the rest of the guys. I thought that was pretty. I'm always into a different kind of stormtrooper, and he definitely looked it. The muscle guy, He just got annoying. Big doofus guy? Yeah, he took the Hulk smash joke just to the extreme. Let's get him! I don't have time for that one.
All right, moving on. Screen Rant, Variety, and a few other publications reported this week that The Mandalorian Season 3 is in development at Disney. I don't know what in development means, with this COVID thing going on, but I imagine they're talking about virtual writers' rooms, working on production staff, maybe doing some table read kind of stuff virtually like we're doing now.
I'm not liking the chat this week. The chat was good the last few weeks, but this week we've got one of those type of guys in there, and I'm taken aback by this guy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I didn't expect it.
Dave, I'm glad you're here because you're really knocking him off his square, and maybe he needs that a little bit.
Oh, dude, I just woke up from a nap like an hour and 15 minutes ago. I don't need this.
I just want to talk about the fact you were taking a nap at 5:30 in the afternoon. You're a grown-ass man. Don't you got work to do?
Yeah, but sometimes a nap is needed in the middle of nothing.
At like 1 in the afternoon, maybe.
Dude, I told you, my sleep schedule has been so whack. I wake up in the middle of the night, watch an episode of Clone Wars, maybe 2, watch an episodic Star Wars, go back to sleep, wake up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, one of the first people up. I need a nap, man. And it's just repetitive. So sometimes a nap just says, guess what? You're doing it. Undo the belt, lay down, maybe take the socks off, get comfortable. I don't know.
Excellent.
I am drinking.
Me too. Spider-Man 3 was supposed to begin filming in June. Likely going to be delayed. Yep.
So
I had more information that just disappeared.
Yeah,
it truncated my silence.
Well, who cares? Oh well. You got Fair delayed. Enough. That's the thing you need to know. It got delayed like pretty much everything else in Hollywood.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait longer for that, which seems fucking not okay to me.
I'm a big fan of the new Spider-Man movie, but I wonder what kind of kibosh that's put on the whole Into the Spider-Verse too, because that's a collaborative, but you can do a lot of shit on computers.
Yeah, a lot of that shit I think can be done from home.
Yeah, and they're just sending it through Spy versus Spy network kind of shit.
Right.
Only the right people with the right emails. That's all who's getting it.
Yep. I saw this today. If you're a fan, which I am, I don't give a shit what you guys say. Princess Bride's coming to Disney Plus May 1st. So not that I don't have a couple of fucking copies already, but I'll be able to watch it on demand. So that's good with me.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
There's a lot going on in the chat this week. It's a very busy place. It's a very busy place. Yeah.
Well, engage.
We need to get our own like Jamie from like Joe Rogan. We just need to have. Maybe I'll pay one of the kids nothing. I won't pay them. I'll just force one of the kids to sit here and point out funny stuff. And it'll probably have to be the older one.
I gotta tell you, I haven't listened to Joe Rogan since he first started.
But I'm just no. I'm using it for. I'm drawing the picture here, my friend.
Sure.
We need one of those type of individuals.
Fair enough.
Hello, Isaac. What's up, dude? What's going on?
Warner Brothers has bumped the Batman releases from June 2021 to October 2021.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's all fine and dandy. I'm a little bit bummed out about it as far as, you know, being a big Batman guy myself. But, you know, it's not going to kill me. It'll probably end up making a stronger product because they'll have more time to fuss with stuff.
Hopefully. Hopefully they don't try to over tweak it by having this much more time.
Yeah, that could be too. I mean, you always run into that kind of shit.
Yeah. Hopefully.
But I think before everything started to go down, I think they were getting close to wrapping up principal photography anyway.
Probably.
So maybe it'll just give them more time to creatively edit to not, you know, end up chucking something important to the floor, you know?
Yeah, rock on. Understand.
Shazam 2, of course, getting pushed back all the way to November of 2022, which we discussed already. You didn't give a shit.
No. And here's when you said Shazam, everything wasn't functioning right that day. And I thought Shaquille O'Neal, Kazam.
Oh, shit. Yeah, no.
And so I was like, do we really need that? No, we don't. So you're saying Shazam. I'm thinking Kazam was Shaq in the 90s, a big ass fucking genie.
Yeah, nobody fucking needed that.
That's where my headspace was. I was having one of those fucking Dave days, man. I was all kind of just. It was.
Well, you went straight to fuck that, fuck everything, and I was like, wow, you got some feelings about fucking Shazam.
Yeah, man. But in my head, it was Kazam. The filter broke just at the right spot.
So you like the one,
yes,
big famous basketball player, but not so much the other one.
What?
You don't.
I like Shaq. I just don't care for his movies. Like he's. I don't. Like he's a funny dude. I don't mind him. Like he can be funny, but like I'm not. He's not an actor, in my opinion. He can't carry a movie. I'll be gentle because that dude could kill me.
He was funny in Grown Ups too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
He wasn't carrying that movie. He was an added.
Exactly. He can be funny, but he can't carry a fucking movie. And if you saw Kazam, maybe we would be on the same page.
Oh, I've seen it.
Okay,
probably
so
4 or 5 times.
Why?
Because it happens. It comes on.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It's just one of those things. You're like, oh, this is a train wreck. I'll watch it.
Oh my God, Jess brought up Shaq Fu. I had the fucking video game. That was awful.
Right?
I had Shaq Fu.
Bad. It was bad.
Man.
Flash movie moved up instead of back. It's moved into a June 2022 slot, but that's a long way away.
Are they ever going to have that movie come out?
Well, they ended up dumping the whole idea of having Ezra Miller be the Flash. This is going to be a new Flash.
What?
And I've always said it would have been way better if they would have just had Grant Gustinson do the job.
Oh,
he was a fantastic Flash, whereas Ezra Miller, although entertaining, he was not.
I'm going to sneeze.
Oh.
Holy shit. I told you.
Wow. Nope. Still red behind you.
Yep.
Still suck eye red back there.
Listen, man, don't jump on that bullshit with him. Last Dance Red, Michael Jordan, Chicago, Raging Bull Red. That's what the fuck that is, man.
We're going to let you get into that here in a little while.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, you son of a bitch.
No, you are going to get into that. I'm going to listen.
Let's go.
Anyway, bless you, and moving on. Black Widow bumped to November 2020. The Eternals to February 2021. Doctor Strange, November 2021. And Thor, Love and Thunder knocked all the way back to February 2022.
That's the state of the world right now. I mean, you had to see, if you're following these movies, if you follow them on the back end on YouTube, and, you know, some people, I'm one of those people, I like to follow some of the movie news. Like, you had to expect this shit to happen. It's just,
I definitely did. I just, I'm reporting on it because I said I'll report on these things. So
yeah, I mean, it's good for
there
those
you go.
people.
I reported it.
It's good for those people who don't know. So
right,
we'll keep you here in the loop here on the Escape Pod. That's your in-flight entertainment.
We kind of skipped it earlier because I forgot to add it to the base notes.
Oh, I know where you're going. You son of a bitch.
But I got to holler at our Patreon subscribers, Jess, Jen, and Scott. Thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate what you're contributing to the pod, and I'm sure it will bear some dividends coming soon.
Oh, dude, do you know the hookers and blow we're going to be able to get with this Patreon money?
Yeah,
that's going to be so good.
That.
Behind the, we'll do behind the scenes photos, and we might have to blur the eyes out or bar the eyes out, but still behind the scene video for our Patreons.
Do you really think we have capacity beyond the hookers and blow we were already doing?
A little bit, maybe.
I don't think we might have to have friends come.
A smidgen if we ate a meal.
Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Right then, you're ready to go, man. Do a little nummy, and you're right back in the. You're right back in the
blowing a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Whee! Oh man.
You could get Chick-fil-A, but then you can't do hookers and blow on Sundays.
Yeah. The Escape Pod does not condone the usage of hookers and blow.
On Sunday.
Monday through Saturday, do what the fuck you want.
All right, let's get into video games.
Let's get there, buddy.
First up, I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake the other day. It was fantastic, exceeded all my expectations. It was definitely worth the wait. I'm not going to pretend like there isn't some things about it that could have been better, or maybe should have been different, or maybe I just would have liked them to be different. But the fact of the matter is, the finished product can't be argued.
Were you talking about like the story, or just how it was?
No, like my bigger problem with it was, so you progress through the story, and there's all kinds of little things that you may not be able to do, right?
Right.
So instead of being able to just fast travel back to an area where a thing happened at and doing it, the game happens in chapters, and things change in the chapters. I don't know if you ever played any of the bigger games on like the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era, where they were like 3 or 4 discs.
Right.
You know, when you were on disc 2, you couldn't go back and do a thing that was on disc 1.
Right, exactly.
So that's the way this game worked. It was broke down into 18 chapters, and once you were at chapter 17, you couldn't go back and do something that was exclusive to chapter 4.
That kind of sucks, yeah.
So after you've completed the game, it opens up chapter skipping, or whatever they happen to call it. Well, that means that you can now go back to chapter 4, play through chapter 4, and do the thing you wanted to do.
Right.
But that means that you have to play all the way through chapter 4, or it doesn't save. So if the thing you needed to do was in the first 10 minutes of chapter 4, you still got 40 minutes of chapter 4 you have to burn through.
Yeah, that sucks. Fuck.
So, you know, like, it's just a minor minor inconvenience, I guess. And none of it's required. Like, it's not like you have to go back and do that. That's just for your completionists that, like me, that like to
That's
100%.
for the nerd. That's for the super nerd in you.
Yes.
That's
It's
for the
definitely
nerds who have to 100% all their games, do all the
Not-
side quests.
not all of them, but definitely this one.
Yeah. No, there's not a lot of us do it, but there are a few of us, my point being you, who they play them games, man. They just got 100% everything.
Yeah, it's super minor stuff, and it's just completionist stuff, really. Like, there's you never played through Final Fantasy VII, right? So there's this point in the late middle part of the first disc that you have to essentially dress like a woman so that you can get into this pimp's house, so that you can fucking trick him out of some information and maybe kill him. Which you don't kill him, but anyway.
Yeah.
But you gotta dress like a chick. Well, in the original game, there was just one outfit.
Oh, you get to pick how sexy of a whore you're gonna be.
Yes, and this one there's 5 different ones, and in
Yeah.
order to get all 5 of them, you have to go back through that.
Oh,
like
that's
5 times.
fantastic.
I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yes, you gotta do it. You gotta screenshot all 5 of your sexy ones and vote in the escape pod.
How about I just look it up and I'll text you the pictures? I'm not
the
sexiest
Final Fantasy VII whore. I love it. Please do it. Please.
So I mean, it's just shit like that. But I mean, those are super minor criticisms. There was some new plot devices that they used and some shit like that where I wasn't like real on board with it until it came to fruition, and then I was like, oh no, I like this. It was a good idea.
Right.
And it definitely takes a game that well, there's a plot twist and I don't want to ruin it, so I'll just keep my fucking mouth shut about it.
Well, let's move on. Yeah, move on. Shut the hell up and move on.
New York Times is reporting that the coronavirus is driving up game sales, but definitely is slowing down game development and production, citing communication issues and issues with family care and interruptions and the like.
So I think it's driving up a lot of sales and different shit. I can tell you, we've bought puzzles for the first time in God knows how many years. I bought fucking Uno, man.
I like Uno.
No, I do too. I'm just saying, like, I can't. Like, the last time I played Uno was I was deployed. Like, that was the last, and I don't even remember. I'm remembering it being there. Whether or not I played cards being deployed. Whether that was a game that I played or not, but that would probably be the last time, man. And I bought fucking Uno cards and puzzles.
Right. You know what I found the other day when I was trying to finish up my Stormtrooper helmet, and I know I told you, but I guess I'm telling everybody else. Every place doesn't sell fucking models anymore or model paint. The only places that sell that kind of shit are specialty store, craft stores, and they're all fucking closed.
Yep. And
I was so bitter.
That just happened within the last few years because I used to get models and modeling stuff, and you could get it at Meijer, and you can't. Yeah. You can't find models at all anymore at Meijer. They got rid of them the last few years.
Yep, absolutely. And then I order a paint kit that's supposed to have a dark navy paint and a yellow paint. And I'm like, bet. It's like $13.95, right? Comes in the mail. And that blue is like the blue of the banner that's in front of you on the screen.
Oh, no.
I'm like, that's not dark blue. What the fuck?
Yeah, that is. No.
So I ended up having to touch up the dark blue by spraying the spray paint onto like a paper plate and then brushing with the spray paint. It worked out though. Fuck them. Anyway, no models at regular stores. I'm like, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah. I thought it was.
There's no models for sale in New Jersey, or no puzzles in New Jersey.
That's crazy. I thought it was funny is I went to Lowe's and we happened to cross paths in the parking lot, which was funny. But I go to Lowe's, you can't buy spray paint at Lowe's but I can go to Meijer and I can buy spray paint at Meijer.
Right.
That made no sense to me.
Well, you know what I was going to tell you though too. Meijer's has a way better spray paint selection than Lowe's does.
Well, I had to get other stuff. I had to get PVC to make this thing behind me to hold up this backdrop and everything. So
it looks much better than the one that you had going on last week.
Yeah.
Color aside.
It's Raging Bull Red, man. I'm going to stab you and Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Fuck both of you.
Anywho, moving on. Fallout 76 gets the live treatment. The Wastelander expansion update begins, and the NPCs and plot lines that beg you to get reacquainted with Appalachia. I don't know why I wrote that like I was trying to sell it, but there you have it.
There it is.
So you probably you don't do Fallout, right?
Nope.
But you said your boy does.
My son does.
So you're familiar with like what Fallout looks like.
Yeah.
And the interaction with NPCs and
right. Yes.
Well, that's what makes the world feel like you can play in it, you know?
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a desolate wasteland, which is what Fallout 76 came out as because it was a multiplayer game. They wanted all the people to be the people that made it alive. Well, what actually happened was all the people were like, I don't want to play with that asshole.
Pretty much.
I just want to play my own game.
Yep. That's the way.
So they were like, well, we're going to make this new thing that people are going to want to do with like a community, like WoW or whatever, but on a console. And people were like, no, thank you. So like 2 years later, they finally came out with the thing that makes the game play like Fallout.
Right.
So I've started playing it again, and I'm really enjoying it, but it's still a world that I already explored. Like I'm already level 82.
Out of what?
Infinity.
Oh.
But I'm way past like the top. You know, like
you can't really get now. You're just pointing up, really.
Right. It just keeps going up levels, but I don't become more powerful anymore. I can't. Like the game's got this thing where you get
you're capped out.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, the game gives you little packages of cards, playing cards, kind of like baseball cards came back in the day, and there was a little stick of gum in it.
Right.
So like every level, you get a pack of cards, and you open it up. There's a stick of gum and like 5 or 6 cards, right?
Okay.
And you can use those cards as attributes for your character.
Right.
It's setting an attribute gauge. You just use these cards. This perk card lets you do this or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, that shit's been maxed out since level like 54.
Oh wow.
So I'm just playing in the sandbox. I'm not doing anything anymore.
I gotcha. Sometimes that's the best way to play a game, though.
Absolutely.
When you're totally maxed out and you just flick people away. Like a booger stuck on your finger, you're like, ugh.
Right. Well, that was like, you know, the kind of shit that happens in Fallout 76 that just makes me want to like pick up a rock and throw it at my TV is you can create your own camp or essentially like a building or a compound that's just yours, right? And every time you log into a map, as long as that space is available, your camp sits right there.
Yeah, Dave said he started playing Fallout 4. It's a time sink he doesn't have a attention level for.
It's so fucking good.
That's the
great thing about it, Dave, is if you come back 6 months later and go to play it because you've got 8-10 hours in a weekend that you want to burn off, it'll be there. It'll be right where it's at, and you'll jump right back into it and be like, oh yeah, because it's rather intuitive game.
What's up, Dub?
What up, Dub? Anyway, moving on from Fallout 76 finally getting fixed. This one's for you. Jurassic World Aftermath is in the works, but it's unclear what studio is going to build it.
Their games have been hit and miss for me.
The dinosaur ones.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Sim City style one that they came, Jurassic World Evolution. That was
Okay.
pretty fun. That was ended up being free on Xbox Games with Gold, but a lot of their games I really haven't.
Like Sims Theme Park or something.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was pretty cool, man. You set up your own pins and create your own dinosaurs, and you can make certain kind of dinosaurs by collecting this DNA, and it's a lot. I recommend it, man. If you can find it on the cheap, it's a fun game to play, especially if you like a Sim City style game.
I do like Sim City games.
Speaking of that, and we're in our video game section. I just finally was able to get my wife her birthday present. Her birthday was in March, and I wanted to get her a new MacBook, and I was finally able to do that. So I got her a MacBook, and she downloaded The Sims. She's like, "Oh, this is a game that the girls will enjoy playing because they have it on a laptop that her sister let her borrow." Yeah. So they've been playing that. Well, that got me thinking. I was like, I want to play SimCity 3000 or SimCity 2000.
2000, yep.
Yeah. So I downloaded SimCity 4, and I've been playing SimCity like I'm in the library in middle school, dude. It's the greatest. It's so much fun.
I love SimCity.
I'm not even using cheats, man. I'm not even using cheats. I'm just building, and I'm just letting it go, dude. Oh, I love SimCity.
Another one of my favorite games back in the day was Civilization. But somewhere after like Civ 4, the game started to get way weird on the back end. So
yeah,
the way that the AI would do shit would be weird and unpredictable, and you'd go
eventually gets to that point. Yeah, it eventually gets to that point where you're like, I'm good.
Yeah. So about anything before Civ 4 is good.
Yeah.
Industry insiders are starting to leak information on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. It looks like we're going to get a showcase from Sony featuring the PlayStation 5 and the launch lineup sometime in mid-May. And also leaks are coming out of Microsoft suggesting that we're going to see Xbox Series X showcase coming out in May as well.
We'll see. Because a lot of times they say it's cheaper, and it's sometimes laughably cheaper. So we'll see. Are you jumping right on the? I know you're a PlayStation guy. Are you jumping right on the PlayStation? Or are you waiting?
Yeah, I'm gonna pre-order mine.
Are you? Mm-hmm. I'm at a place right now where I think so far there's nothing coming out with the release of the Xbox that makes me want to just be like, I have to get it day one.
Right.
And I've done that I did that for the Xbox One.
I think that is definitely a issue with Xbox. Honestly, the last couple of times they've come out with a system.
Well, do you have a game specifically that's coming out with PlayStation that you're looking forward to? Like that comes out? No.
I'm just going to go ahead and buy it because I know I'm going to buy it.
Right.
So I'll just go ahead and buy it and transfer all my shit, and then it'll be a done deal. And Bob's your uncle.
I just don't know. If I'm going to do it as fast as I have in the past. You know, like I said, I had a day one edition Xbox One. And then I bought my son one. It wasn't a day one edition, but I had them both pre-ordered before they even came out. Right. I don't think I'm going to do that. My son might get one for Christmas or something like that. That would probably be the last gaming system his ass ever gets from his dad. Because his ass is about to turn 18 and he can buy that shit on his own. Sorry. It's just the way life is, man. I love you, kid.
Yeah, I already set the money aside for it. Like when we got our bonus checks earlier this year.
Oh, nice.
So when it comes out, I'll just go ahead and transfer the money, and we'll be off and running.
Nice.
Real slim on the hot sheets. There isn't a whole lot coming out of Hollywood right now. Taika Waititi confirms that Beta Ray Bill will be in Love and Thunder.
Nice.
And I know there was speculation about it earlier this year, and you brought up, well, he was in the
He was on the statue.
Statue. And they're saying that that statue wasn't memorializing somebody who was gone.
No, but it was called like the Statue of Heroes or some shit like that.
Right. But what I was reading was those statues are put up for tournament champions.
Yeah.
So at some point he was a champion on that planet from Thor 3. I can't remember what the hell it was. Where?
Ragnarok?
Yeah, but I don't remember the planet that he was fighting. Oh, wasn't that planet Hulk? No, it wasn't.
No, I don't
Hulk.
Remember the name of the planet.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the one where what's his face was the big head honcho, the guy from Jurassic Park. What's his name?
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess when they win those tournaments, they get a statue in the Hall of Heroes or whatever the fuck it's called.
The Hall of Heroes.
So anyway, Tom Hardy teased a Venom v Spider-Man film on Instagram, but then quickly deleted it.
Ooh, I didn't hear about that. That's fun.
Yeah, so that's out there. I don't know how much weight's behind it, but it's out there.
We can jump right into sports. There's not really, like we said last week, there's not really anything going on in sports. The only thing we can speak of in sports is the Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan documentary that came out Sunday. The Last Dance. They had episodes 1 and 2. And if you were a fan of the NBA, 90s basketball, Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls, just that era, it's a really kind of raw look at Michael Jordan that I don't think most people and fans, especially some of the younger fans, really got to see who Michael Jordan. You can see highlights all day, but you get this shit where he's talking behind, like, they took the filter off and he is talking. Everybody's talking, and they're talking about Scottie Pippen and contract disputes that last season, and it's a real raw live look at that last season with the Chicago Bulls and Jerry Reinsdorf and the friction and the headbutting and how Michael Jordan didn't like him and would punk his ass out. It's interesting, man. I know you're not a Michael Jordan guy, but just the shit, it's a good listen to, man. I think you would be intrigued by it, honestly.
It's not that I'm not a Michael Jordan guy. I'm not a professional basketball guy. I've had the argument with people bunches of times. I don't like what professionalism does to that game.
Yeah.
And in a certain degree, I feel the same way about football.
Right.
I watch professional football, but I think the contract stuff and the manipulating this and
but
I only work when I want to kind of mentality.
Yeah, and it's in this. I think you would like the rawness and understanding both sides. Like, you're hearing both sides of it. Like Eric said, they did Scottie Pippen wrong. I agree with Eric's sentiment, but like, you get to hear how he did them wrong. He was on a 7-year contract for $18 million. I know a lot of people complain about athletes and their contracts and how much they make, but like, he was the 122nd paid athlete NBA player at that time. It's just, they get into all the minutia and all the moving parts and the bickering and the headbutting, and it just is really good, man. I don't know if you like sometimes having that unfiltered behind the scenes look, and I like behind the scenes, and I like behind the scenes in the sports world. So
sure. I might enjoy that movie for what it is. Like, I very well may watch it. I have the extra time. But like I said, my greater issue is not at all with any of the individual players as much as it is what professionalism does to sports a lot of the times. Like, Especially like, you know, a guy has a fantastic year when he's working on nailing a contract down, and then the next couple of years he's kind of whatever. And that kind of shit, it just drives me crazy. I'm like, oh, this guy's coming, he's going to be good, and he's like, oh, he's already got the job.
The last one where it hit me that's how that shit worked out was when that happened with Sean Alexander for the Seattle Seahawks. He was not the Heisman, but he was like the MVP, fucking running over people, running around people, doing all this. Contract year, got the big contract, and you never heard of him again.
Didn't that happen with Sherman for a while too? Like, he was big shit, and then all of a sudden he was like low radar.
No, Richard Sherman's always been. That's who you're talking about, Richard Sherman, right?
Yeah.
He was never MVP, but I mean, he had some injuries, and
he was like the man for a minute. But that happened to be contract year. If I recall.
but it's. I think it's like you look at somebody like a Sean Alexander, somebody who really went and got that big payday during that contract year, and then fell off. Like, Sean Alexander never came back. Like, he literally took his money and fucking ran. He never came back. He was never the same.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a thing. And like I said, I just feel like I don't get as good a show when I go to a pro game as I do a college game, or, you know what I mean? There's just, I got my issues with it, and I've heard plenty of explanation of why I'm wrong, and that's fair too. It's just how I feel about it.
No, so absolutely. I'm just saying, brother, check it out, man. Watch the first episode, and maybe that'll lead you into the second episode. Maybe come back next week when I talk about episode 3 and 4. If you've checked it out, tell the people, hey, I couldn't even get through the first episode.
Yeah, maybe I'll put it on while I'm playing Fallout or something.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, you ready to jump into the big show here?
Let's get it on, brother.
So, like I said earlier, I'll go ahead and read through this, and stop me when you want to talk about something.
Well, why don't you let the people know what the main synopsis is of our main topic here?
So what we're going to discuss is Ironman 1 and how it became a gateway to the creation of the MCU that we know now.
Yes.
It started off with the idea of, hey, let's make this film with this kind of second-rate character that we got, and then it turned into 22 movies and pretty much redefining cinema and the biggest paydays that are out there.
Well, and they rewrote the comic book action movie.
Right.
You know, all we had before that was really Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, and they were very much Batman, Spider-Man, they were very much their own things, where Iron Man would talk about shit that was so open-ended, you're like, oh my God, he just said S.H.I.E.L.D. I can't believe he just said S.H.I.E.L.D. You know what I mean?
Right. And the Batman movie was the only one that was actually taken seriously. Like, as far as like when they wrote it, they were like, this is serious.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Batman's not the best example, because the Batman took comic book movies into a different direction as well.
Yeah, but those were definitely darker and different. And,
absolutely.
I'll get into that a little bit more later too. But
I'm getting kind of sidebarring here. My opinion is, you don't have Dark Knight, Batman Begins. You don't do those movies, you don't get a Joker movie.
Absolutely. Yep. But that's one of the nice things about these movies, is they actually create a space where you can tell stories that are outlying stories, like that Harley Quinn movie. Really good movie. Kind of got, the shit reviews about it because it wasn't marketed properly. So when some people went to go see a movie about Harley Quinn, it was kind of a movie that Harley Quinn was in.
Well, I liked Suicide Squad. I enjoyed how Suicide Squad was still connected to Batman v Superman, and that that whole world. You know what I mean? Like, I loved how Batman showed up. Yeah, he was only in there for what? Probably less than 2 minutes of a car chase scene. Like, I enjoyed that. I love how they were connected. I love when movies are connected like that. That's one of the reasons I love Star Wars so much, is because all the movies are connected in some capacity or another. There's things within this movie that, even if it's the prequels, the sequels, the solo movies, the Rogue One movies, you know what I mean? There's stuff that's connected to the other movies that it's like, oh, I love that. Whether it's you see a vehicle in the background or you see a character speaks that you've seen in the background of another. I love when that kind of shit happens.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree. Anyway, that's where we're headed with this. So, real quick, I guess synopsis of what happens in Iron Man 1. And like I said, stop me when you want to expound on something. Playboy genius arms manufacturer Tony Stark heads to Afghanistan to deliver a new weapons demonstration to some generals, including his friend Colonel James Rhodes. After a successful demonstration of the Jericho warhead, Stark's convoy was attacked by a terrorist faction known as the Ten Rings. In the attack, Tony gets hit with shrapnel to the heart. While in captivity, go ahead.
Who, me?
Yeah, I thought you said something.
Nope, I didn't say nothing. I was reading the comments.
Okay. While in captivity, another captive / doctor builds an electromagnet to keep the shards from killing Tony.
That was Sharknado. It was the prequel for Sharknado. There's a mini universe inside Tony, is where I'm getting too side. Watch Sharknado. It'll all make sense.
Iron Man Shark Week.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Tony is supposed to be building the terrorists a Jericho weapon missile. No weapon, just Jericho missile. Tony builds a miniature arc reactor that he uses to keep the shard out of his chest and to power a new mech suit, later deemed Mark I. Tony uses the suit to fight his way out, destroy the Ten Rings weapon cache. When Tony returns, he attempts to close down Stark Industries' weapons division to take the company to a more peaceful direction. Tony spends the next couple weeks perfecting his arc reactor technology and creating the Iron Man suit, which the first one was the Mark II. It's the Mark III that he does the bulk of the lifting in this movie, though. During this time, Tony's late father's partner, Obadiah Stane, has opened the weapons manufacturing division of Stark Industries again and resumed selling weapons to the terrorist groups, including the Ten Rings, through back channels. Tony takes it upon himself to take down members of the Ten Rings that were attacking a town in Afghanistan, while Obadiah is attempting to recreate Tony's work, make a suit of his own. When Stane finds out that he can't make the arc reactor, he steals Tony's. Tony has to put the old one back in his chest and dons the suit to go face off with Stane. And Tony tells the whole world that he is Iron Man. Basically,
after he defeats Obadiah Stane.
Right. Basically opening it up so that the rest of the superheroes don't have to go with secret identities and shit. They just walk around being Captain America or whatever.
Okay, I have to say this because Star Wars. So, when they're exactly. When they're in the tunnel just before when Tony starts putting on the suit and the guy's like, I'm Ensign, his little helper dude is like, I'm going to give you some time. Did you not notice the total Han Solo Star Wars A New Hope, where he grabs the gun and runs down the hallway like Han did on the Death Star, charging all the stormtroopers? Did you not notice that?
No.
Dude, I got to find that clip and send it for you. He charges running and screaming down the hallway like Han Solo did.
All right, yeah, I just had to picture what you were talking about. Yeah, he totally did.
I thought that
fire
was
in the AK and the ceiling and shit.
Yeah, he's running down, and then he runs into them all. And he's like, "Oh
Oops.
shit, I fucked up."
Yep.
I just had to throw that in there. I noticed that this morning or yesterday. I watched it with my mother-in-law yesterday, which I gotta say this, dude. Watching with my mother-in-law, she has no grasp with the MCU. She knows nothing of these movies. She just watched it with me, and she was so mad that this is Jeff Bridges, right?
Yep.
She was so mad that he was a bad guy. She was just like, "This is stupid." It's like, what? This is just dumb. And then she was like, she's like, "Pepper Potts, she better not be a bad girl. She better not be on the other team." I was like, "It's okay. It's okay." She was so mad about it, dude. It was funny.
That's funny.
It was hilarious, man.
Sit her down and watch Tron 2 with her, and she'll be okay.
Yeah, we don't say spoiler alert that much in here, Dave. We told you at the beginning of the show what we're doing. We gave you a lead in. If you haven't seen 2008's Iron Man, that's on you.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 12 years ago.
That's all it was. Only 22 Marvel movies ago. We do it live and we don't give a fuck.
Yeah. We just lay it right on the table, and if you're not interested, walk away.
Yeah, and maybe if you want to check it out, see if there's anything tattooed on there, you can look. That's up to you. Sometimes you're like, "Oh my God, that has an appearance of a lighthouse that fell over." Maybe it has. We don't know.
Now I'm picturing you walking down the hallway and the light flashing on and going off and flashing on. Dave's gonna leave an angry review. By all means, though, make sure you leave a 5-star review so that we'll read it on the show.
Yeah, you can be angry, yelling, and that's fine. We please do. We need one to read. It might be purple. It might be purple, not red, Dave. Might be a little purpley.
Oh, I gotta go wash my hands.
Kind of like a blurple.
Blurple.
It's kind of a blurple color.
That's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. You got no shame.
I got none.
So, did you do your homework as far as things that this movie brought to the cinematic?
One of the first things I noticed, because I've noticed it through all the movies, and it's one of the ongoing things. I actually sent you a video on it just to kind of paint the picture of what I was talking about. Is when he his arm, the whole thing with his left arm. He's always constantly getting his left arm stuck, hurt. He's constantly drawing attention like that's his bad arm, which pays towards Endgame, where he gets the Infinity Gauntlet, and that goes on his right arm. So I sent you that video. If I can, we can probably post that video for other people to watch. I love how that started in Iron Man 1 and literally goes through every Iron Man beat, that every part of the movies he's ever been. He's always sitting in there and he's always messing with his left hand. He's doing something. Yep. And it's in every Iron Man movie he's a part of, whether he's in the Spider-Man movie or his own movies.
It's funny because I feel that too. Every time I see him do it, my wrists start. Yeah, all the repetitive motion injuries and shit from my days working assembly.
Yeah, well, and if you pay attention to the movies he's been in and you really watch, he gets the shit kicked out of his left arm.
Yeah,
like he's using it to block, or when he's fighting the Hulk, like he really gets the crap kicked out of it.
He uses it as a shield an awful lot.
Yeah, he does. It's like you don't have the Captain America shield here, buddy. You need to calm that shit down.
This one's fucked up. Hit me here.
Let's just always hit me right here.
Yeah. Just make sure that you aim for the left side, would you?
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I figured I'd bring up is Iron Man 1 was the first comic book movie with a huge budget. Had $140 million budget.
But it's funny when you look at that budget and you look at the last Iron Man movie or the Avengers movie, you're like, that budget wasn't nothing.
Well, in 2008, though, $140 million was a sizable chunk of change.
Fair enough. It's funny when you look at how grandiose and how big the scale of these Iron Man Avengers movies got, to where you look at this one and it's so small. He's fighting this guy in the industrial district of Los Angeles, California, and it's so small, whereas everything else becomes like on a worldwide bigger scale after that.
Right, for sure.
Or galactical scale.
Right. Well, the other thing too is, those movies that we started getting later down the road, they had a real solid idea that they were going to get a significant return on investment. But $140 million was a gamble on this movie.
Yeah.
And they ended up making, I believe, $560 million domestically. And that, of course, not including what they made everywhere else.
Dave also brings up that the CGI from a 2008 movie still holds up today in 2020.
I was thinking that too. That movie does not look like it's fucking 12 years old.
No. The technology within the movie is the only thing that makes you think that movie is as old as it is.
Yep. Yeah, like the VTech phone that Pepper Potts calls him on the end.
Or his flip phone that he's got is so James Bondish and just
it's like super high tech, and you're like, bro,
that's not. It's not.
Like it was super cool that like Pepper Potts' picture came up when she called. And you're like, oh, that is so old tech. It's very strange. In this, like when you start talking about, like, I was in high school, almost done with high school when AOL became a thing.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting there waiting for a 56K baud modem to ping a fucking server halfway across the country for like 82 minutes while it made a bunch of weird squealy noises at me.
Yeah.
To get on the internet. And now, like, when I'm not getting 120 kilobytes per second fucking downstream, I'm pissed. Like, I'm like, hey, I fucking pay you for this shit. You know what I mean?
Dude.
But like back in the day, you're like, man, I hope this works.
Right. Or if you're like driving around town and then all of a sudden you're at a spot where you get shitty reception, you're like, are we in the Stone Age? What the hell happened? This is the worst, man. You're like, I was 3 blocks ago. I had the greatest signal in the world. What? You get mad. You want to yell at your phone, yell at people around you. That's the worst.
Yeah. But like I said, in my memory, the other fucking day, I was sitting there waiting for dial-up.
Yeah.
I literally remember using one of those modems where you had to dial the number and put the receiver in a listening device cradle.
I remember that. Yeah.
Dude.
My mom and dad were like some of the first people to ever have internet.
Really?
Yeah, my mom and dad, I because that was one of the first ways you had home internet. I remember that shit, man.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, they spent a ton of money on this movie, and fucking war games. I love war games. That's one of my faves. I'll watch that anytime it's on.
I haven't seen that one in so long.
Anyway, the point I was getting at, they spent $140 million. That gave them the ability to be like absolutely meticulous with every fucking detail of this movie. They were able to pay all kinds of homage to source material and take their time with character development. It was fantastic. I mean, as far as what was out there for comic book movies up until this point.
And let's just talk about for a second. Let's talk about Robert Downey Jr. being Tony Stark.
Right.
He's one of those characters where it's like like some people are like, Pierce Brosnan will always be my James Bond, or Sean Connery will always be my James Bond. Like Tony Stark, Iron Man, there is never will be another Iron Man. This is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is my Iron Man forever and always. Like, you can recreate this movie, you won't find a better. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man and forever always will be, in my opinion. He played it so on point. He played it like it.
Yeah.
He played it like it needed to be played.
I feel the same way about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know that I'm prepared to accept another actor as Wolverine. And I feel the same way about Iron Man. But if you want to look at it this way, they would have to completely reboot the entire MCU to have a different Iron Man. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that if they do, that needs to be years down the road. That you start talking about reboot and stuff, that doesn't need to happen anytime soon.
No, absolutely not. I think we got at least another couple phases of this canon that we can go through.
I hope so, man. You did all that work just to turn around and say, we're going to start over. Don't do that.
Right.
I don't want that.
No, and it might not be necessary ever. It very well may be possible where they just go, no, we did Iron Man back then. Now we got these guys we're going to do. Because, I mean, they built the entire MCU on the backs of B characters for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. You didn't get, really, your A+ character would probably be Spider-Man, and you don't get him till the very end of all of this.
Well, yeah, Spider-Man and Cap.
Yeah, Captain America. Yeah, but do you think
even Thor is a little bit on the outskirts?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. Like, people know of Thor, but he wasn't. Thor. I agree. B-side, Iron Man was never like the coolest cat when we were younger. And like I've told you before, I have a different opinion of Iron Man growing up in the military. Like, Iron Man or Captain America. Captain America to me, I don't want to say he was never cool, but he was always like, I saw Captain America on base. Military people to me were Captain America. So I always had a hard sell on Captain America being quote unquote cool in my eyes.
Right. What else you got?
Oh, no, go. You have the notes in front of you.
The success of this movie really determined whether or not they could go through and build the MCU in the first place. Like, had this movie not been the giant blockbuster hit, it hinged on this movie and the Ed Norton Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Which, although I do enjoy the Ed Norton Hulk movie, it is not the blockbuster that this was. Like,
oh no, but they had enough stuff to. They had things, and then the scene with Robert Downey Jr. at the end there that connected it to where I think that helped it, because that Hulk movie wasn't the greatest at all.
No, but I mean, it wasn't that bad. It still kind of looked like it was definitely a step between that piece of shit Hulk movie that we got with cartoon Hulk.
Yeah.
Or the Ed Norton one. And the Hulk that we got with Avengers.
Oh, yes. Yes. There's a lot. And that's the trouble with it.
Well, you know, that, and we've had 3 different Hulks in 3 successive movies. Like, to expect the okay, so they created Marvel Studios, and they got a whole bunch of investments from people like Goldman Sachs and shit like that,
Right.
to make Iron Man and the Ed Norton Hulk movie. I think the Ed Norton Hulk movie was produced through Universal, and I can't remember. Lionsgate, I think, did Iron Man.
I believe you. You got a whole lot more information going on than I do.
But that was the birth of Marvel Studios, right?
Right.
So if it all hinged on the success of that Ed Norton Hulk movie, we don't see the entire MCU. There's no fucking way that I think that Ed Norton Hulk movie did like maybe $200 million. I'm gonna look it up just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, but if you're saying if it went off the success of that movie alone,
right?
Yeah, there's no way.
Whereas Iron Man made enough money in pure profit to pay everybody back, huge dividends, and sold a bunch of fucking merch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just that the movie was successful as a film, like it hit that giant toy and merch market like Star Wars and Transformers and shit did, which, you know, the fucking Hulk movie just didn't do. The only thing you got for Hulk was like maybe a 8-inch, 6-inch action figure and gloves that made the smash noise. Yeah,
the Hulk hands.
Yep. So,
well, we have kids the same age. Iron Man was like taking my kid trick or treating. Like I saw the Iron Man costume all over the place.
Yeah.
Like you didn't really see a Hulk costume as much.
Here's those numbers, buddy. I was actually pretty close. I'm kind of surprised. Domestic open for the Incredible Hulk in 2008. $55 million. They spent $150 million building this movie.
Yeah.
Domestic, it ended up doing 134. International 129 for a total of $264 million worldwide. It only made an extra $100 million.
Yeah, that's no.
Whereas, let me grab those numbers for Iron Man. I looked at them earlier, but I don't want to fuck them up. They're significantly different. $140 million budget. Domestic on it was 318. International was 266 for $585 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that movie paid for the studio, the venture, paying everybody back, and the fucking seed money that they needed to build the MCU. So then they went from, hey, we could make a movie or two, and then, you know, maybe we do a thing, to, you know what? Let's come up with a fucking plan.
Right.
Let's take these characters and let's build movies on the back of like Jon Favreau and shit, because shit works under Favreau.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the guy who runs, or who was running Marvel Studios
Kevin
for
Feige.
some reason. Feige. You know, like these guys are getting together going, they're real fucking nerds. They love this shit. And they sat down and were like, let's do the kind of shit we talked about when we were kids, and let's write a fucking story.
Well, they're starting to figure that shit out with Star Wars by having Favreau do the fucking Mandalorian, and getting Filoni, getting these guys who have a passion for what it is they're doing and getting them in there to tell these beautiful stories. So
yeah, I have a feeling that we're going to see a golden age of Star Wars television.
Storytelling. I think Star Wars storytelling, its future is in, I've said this before, in like the Disney Plus and television shows. I really think you can, you know what I mean? Like they started doing it with animation, with Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff like that. And I think you're going to start seeing, and you don't need to feed me season-long things. Feed me something that's only 3 seasons and has a beginning and an end.
Right.
And then if you want to put this character in another show that's connected to this show, all right, I'm cool with it.
I think that's hugely important. Like
Me too.
Cassian Andor season or series. Don't sell me some shit that's gonna run 5-6 seasons and
No, it's not needed. It's not necessary.
Fucking tell me a story, beginning, middle, end, and don't have filler bullshit because I don't give a fuck about Cassian Andor enough to watch filler bullshit.
No, but if you gave me a season or 2 seasons of this point where he starts here, maybe he's doing some underworld shit, and then he gets to where we see him in Rogue One, I'm good with that. And you give me 2 seasons of that, maybe you do a little time jumping. All right, bring it on. I don't need, like you said, I don't need 5 seasons. I want 5 seasons of Mandalorian.
Yep.
I want to see where.
I want 5 good seasons of Mandalorian. If at 3 seasons they're like, well, we're running out of Mandalorian stories, then fucking trim that shit off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because although I love the character, we've only seen, was it 8 episodes? What was the first season?
8 episodes. 8 episodes.
So, like they were fucking bombshell knockout. Fucking, I loved them all. There was like 1 or 2 that probably didn't have to be there, but I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Like the one on Tatooine.
That one and the one where he rescues the dude on the space jail.
I really liked that one.
I liked it, but it wasn't necessary to the story.
No, you're right. You're right. But I did enjoy the it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Alien.
Oh yeah, dude, it had a horror vibe. It definitely had it had an 80s horror vibe to it. It really did. But like no, Dave says the Mandalorian is an enigma. The lifeblood of Star Wars is going to come from the writers of comics and novels. I agree, but I think if you take some of those writers and novels and you can turn some of their stories or their imagination into some TV show, I want to see TV. I love seeing The Mandalorian. Like, bring me more stuff that feels so real that I can touch it. It makes me feel like I'm standing in a field of sorghum or whatever. Like, give me more of that, man.
Yep. Dave brings up another point too. He's saying, take the money that you spend on the Cassian Andor series and put it towards the new canon stuff that you're going to build.
Right.
Because I agree. I don't think anybody's fucking screaming for that.
No, I agree. I'm not screaming for it either, but I if you're going to give me a good story, if they believe they have a good enough story there and it turns out, hey, I was fucking wrong, more power to them. But the way I feel differently. Some people don't feel we need an Obi-Wan television series. I feel differently. I want to see it. Maybe I don't feel it's necessary, but I want to see it. I don't want to see this, but if you're going to give it to me, give me something I'm not expecting, because The Mandalorian, what you gave me with The Mandalorian, I was not expecting.
Cassian Andor just seems like a sad hand job. Like, by all means, I'll take it. But do you got to cry the whole time?
Yeah. Don't stop looking at me.
Yeah, stop looking at me and eating my Cheetos. I'll eat my own Cheetos.
These are flaming out anyways. These
don't
concern you.
All right. Let's see, what else do I got? As far as another thing that this movie did that didn't really previously exist in superhero movies, the depth that Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to eventually do that. I didn't think I was going to get this far into the show before I said Tony Hawk, but here we go. The depth of Tony Stark's character was kind of unusual for superhero movies up until this point. Far more time was spent in this movie establishing his character and defining the developmental stages that he went through than, say, a movie like The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was like, here's your Batman. He's this guy. And at one point he was a kid, but he's this guy.
Right.
We got a little bit of backstory in the third one when it talks about the shit he went through with Bane. But other than that, Like they just presented you Batman, and you were like, okay, it's Batman. Same thing with Superman or Wonder Woman or whatever. They were like, this is the character, blah blah blah. Tony Hawk now. So now it's Tony Hawk and Tony Stark.
Well,
Tony
if they did some sexy stuff, I can see this.
You shouldn't see it. It's wrong.
No, I can see Tony Hawk. Some sexy skateboard flying robot dude. That's awesome.
That would be sweet. I actually had a friend that used to have a sweet Ironman skateboard. It was cool.
Was it called the Tony Hawk?
No, but it was all the colors, and I think it had the arc reactor in the middle of it. It was cool.
It was cool. It had a fucking arc reactor. You didn't even have to push. It just took you there.
I mean, not a real one.
Oh, it was painted. My bad. It was painted.
If you could create a miniaturized arc reactor, you could make a hoverboard for real.
Oh, I would too.
And then
I'd make a hover. I'd have a flying car.
You'd be like, it only works on power.
No, stop.
No, I say that wrong.
You butchered that.
Hoverboards don't work on water
unless you've got power.
Unless you got power.
Yes.
You got to say it like a dumbass.
Yeah.
That guy is a terrible actor.
His name was Data.
It doesn't matter. He was terrible.
I'm just telling you that was the character's name, Data.
That was the weakest part of the entire movie. That one guy in that one scene.
Let's just calm the fuck down before somebody reaches through the fucking phone and stabs you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway.
You're the weakest character in every movie ever.
Huh?
Yeah. What?
That's why I'm not an actor.
Thank God.
We get a real feeling for who Tony is at each step of this movie.
Just keep it to Tony. Beginning. No more last name, just Tony.
No Sparks.
No Sparks, no Harks, no Hawks, no hippies, no nothing.
But like at the beginning, he's like that kind of drunken playboy dude, and then we watch him evolve into being a little bit more conscious of the things that he's doing, the shit his dad did, you know, what's been going on in the greater world, to him finally realizing that he doesn't want to fuck supermodels anymore. He's got to go for the pepper pots.
He never said he didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Give the man a break.
Dave's like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be participating in my class.
I'm glad we're funner than your schooling class there, bud. Hell yeah.
I don't know why Josh said shot. Do you want to do a shot, Josh?
No. I don't
We're
have
all
anything.
doing shot. Everybody's doing shots. My bottle's empty.
I have a beer. But I'll raise it.
I'm drinking Brady's beer.
Yeah. Remind me not to buy beer before we go into quarantine and leave at your house.
Yeah. I'll replenish the refrigerator. Don't worry.
That's funny. All right, continue, my friend.
I just thought it was significant that we got that kind of character development in one of these movies, because it was relatively unheard of as far as these movies go, that you would get any kind of evolving character,
right?
And then as they built out the MCU as a whole, we didn't just get it for Tony. We ended up getting it for Cap, and we got it for Bucky, and
you get it for all these characters. Spider-Man.
You get it for Hulk.
Black
Widow.
Black Widow.
Hawkeye is pretty useless no matter what happens, so we'll just go ahead and chalk that up to.
I still like his character though.
I do.
He's useless as shit, but he holds his own.
It's just fun to pick on him about it.
Because it's easy. Because
everybody else here is a superhero. Why are you here? Well, I'm a good shot with a bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, he's
That's
got the
cool.
secret hideaway house.
Oh, he does have the secret country hideaway house.
Where we can all hang out and kumbaya by the fire.
And chop wood. Or in Captain America's case, you just
rip it apart. I mean, that's what I do. That's not what you do.
No.
It's so much more efficient. So much more efficient, Don. Really should do it that way.
I gotta tell you, that moment in that movie was fantastic. He's like holding the block of wood, and he's like, ah.
And then he's like, "Don't grab from my pile."
Yeah, don't fucking touch my pile on your left. So another, or kind of the last thing that I really grabbed from this, and this quote from Jon Favreau kind of shows the formula for how they'd build out the MCU as far as the tone, and they kept that same tone. They kept the audience, tuning in because they never deviated from the quality of the product.
Right.
For 22 films.
Right.
But anyway, the quote is, you want to mix great casting, stay true to the characters, a combined universe that allows cross-pollination, and having humor and adherence to canon.
Yeah,
if you take that one simple quote and everybody in Hollywood that was trying to do this kind of shit just followed those basic guidelines, there would be tons of good shit out there.
Oh God, yeah. And it's like you said, it's a simple quote. It's a simple structure to follow. Follow it, and let's make some good movies.
Yep.
That's all I got. They implemented the end credit scene. That kind of became a Marvel thing. Like it became something where in all my life growing up watching the movies, you never had people wait to the end of the fucking credits to see or stay or do shit. The movie ended, you got up and left. So that
end credit scene told you what was coming.
Yeah,
what was in store next time.
Yeah.
And if you were a real nerd, there's some people that were like, okay, I'll watch it, but I won't fucking know it.
Right.
And then there's people in the theater that, old girl from Suicide Squad, what's her name?
Margaret Robbie.
No, the Amanda Waller.
Oh yeah.
You remember the one where she walks in and you're like, oh shit, we're gonna do Suicide Squad.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was always different level of nerds, and you could tell which ones were like the uber nerds and which ones were like, yeah, I know some of this stuff. And the ones that didn't have a fucking clue, because there were people going, I don't know what's going on. And then there's other people that are like, yeah.
You're going to have to close the show up because I have to pee like nobody's business.
We're not there yet.
Okay, well then I got to go pee. So you got to take a commercial break.
We need to do that anyway.
Okay, good.
We'll do a 30 seconds of silence when you get back.
Sounds good.
Okay. So what's going on, big chat peoples? I pee on that red, so it tiles it down. Oh, poor Brady. He'll never have a red background again. I don't know what that fucking thing is, but it should definitely be burned. It's got to be blue and yellow. Anything blue and yellow we can do. I would actually have preferred if it would have been green, which of all things is I don't fucking like green. I don't own anything that's green. I don't buy clothes that are green, or I try to burn my lawn so it's not green. but definitely not ever red. We don't want any suck eye red ever. Not entirely sure what we're going to do on the show next week, but I was kind of thinking that I might try and talk Brady into talking a little Back to the Future. I know it's an issue that's dear to his heart, and so I might try and con him into that. We were going to talk about bad video games this week. And me and Brady both came to the conclusion after a certain point that we didn't want to spend a bunch of time shitting on stuff. We like talking about stuff that we like, but spending a bunch of time talking about shit that we don't like seems opposite of our personalities, so to speak. Like we'd be putting on different hats if we're not into that kind of thing. What do you think, Brady?
What?
I was telling them that we were talking about doing bad video games, and then we decided that that's not really in our personality set. We don't really like spending a lot of time shitting on stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. If we were sitting there having to be negative, it would have been a short show, that's for sure.
So
fuck everybody with the red, man. Fuck all of you.
You might have to burn that fucking sheet or whatever that is.
Yeah, that's all it is. It was just a sheet. I couldn't find the long ass piece that I have of the background you have. So I just said, oh, fuck it. I have this red sheet. I'll throw it up. I'll talk of the Raging Red, Last Dance, Michael Jordan. No, everybody's got some fucking bullshit to say about fucking red, man.
It matches your pretty watch, though.
Well,
who owns red sheets? Women that have bad periods.
This sexy bitch right here.
He has bad periods.
Anyway,
are you ready to do 30 seconds of silence?
Yeah, let me look at my sexy matching red watch. That's not red.
Before we do 30 seconds of silence, what are we going to talk about? We pretty much just got through all of the main topic. Do you want to do 30 seconds of silence and just close this bitch up?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we're back. We're back with a closeout to this beautiful, momentous show we had. We're going to close this bitch out after Brady's bathroom break. I couldn't make it to the end of the show this time. Well, I tried.
I was talking to the good folks in the chat there, and I was thinking if you're interested, we'll do Back to the Future 1 next time.
Oh.
I think you just came, folks.
No, I filled the cup, that's for sure. Back to the Future. Who came up with that idea?
Me.
Oh, yeah, dude. Mm-hmm.
Dude, like the same kind of thing. Like we'll talk about what was in that movie and then how it started the franchise.
Yeah. Yes. Back to the Future. Dude, Back to the Future is on some Star Wars level for me. You know that, though. I love me some Back to the Future.
Yeah, I like those movies quite a bit.
That's beautiful.
I might just use it as an excuse to watch it again.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Every once in a while, you need a little enchantment under the sea dance.
Oh, yes, you little Johnny Be Good. Oh. You guys may not be ready for this, but your kids, They're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it. All right. So everybody make sure that you've liked this video. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Really helps people find us. And if you do, my good friend Brady here will read it live on the show.
And I will read it with enthusiasm, with heart, with love, with disdain, if it's a part of your message and your write-up. I will do it.
Subscribe and download on your favorite podcast app. At the ATSW, the Escape Pod.
Check out all of our pod family. Check out the mothership, the All Things Star Wars pod. Check out Used and Abused with Kim and Scott. Check out Layman's Terms with our buddy Keith. Check out Tactical Swede, Big Swede's Excellent Adventure. And don't forget to check us out and a couple of our ATSW pod family members on the Podbelly Network with other shows like the Sofa King and Geekly Distractions. Go ahead, brother.
If you like what we've been doing and you want to continue to support us, go to patreon.com and then look up what's the word I'm looking for? Not producers.
I don't know the word.
I don't know either. There's a search bar at the top. You type in ATSW, the Escape Pod, you'll find us. There's multiple different tiers of subscriptions so that you can help us put in a little bit of cheddar so that we can do things like go to Comic-Cons and stuff like that so that we can share that experience with you guys. And then if you do subscribe, we'll shout your name out on the show. And you get access to all the cool videos that like Brady makes, and like we just added a new one.
Yeah, we're just doing little stuff, just a little behind the scenes. Maybe, hopefully, with some of the stuff I'm painting, sanding a Star Wars Stormtrooper bucket hat, helmet. So that was one of the first videos we sent out to the patrons. It's nothing crazy, but maybe I can inspire you, or maybe you can see something, be like, hey, do this, whatever. Maybe you can inspire me. I don't know. Just coming up with different stuff.
When this COVID shit stops and we start having time to go to these Comic-Cons, we'll be putting up videos, show you what we ran into out at these cons.
Oh yeah.
We'll make a like a video for you. And then if you jump in at the highest tier, the Escape Pod Pilot, you will, after the end of your 3rd month, you'll get a free t-shirt.
Hell yeah, you will.
And all of the Patreon subscribers will get entered in. Each month, they'll get a certain amount of entries for the gift basket we're going to put out every quarter.
Yep.
So if you're into that, go see us at patreon.com and send us a buck or two. And Dave, we don't have any sponsors at this point.
Just the people, just the patrons.
Brady's Beard is a sponsor of the show. Or you know what? I bet you he's talking about what the name of that search bar was on the top of the Patreon tab. And I just looked it up. It is Find a Creator. So in the top, there's a search bar. It says Find a Creator. Type in ATSW, the Escape Pod. You'll be able to find us.
Yep. And then you can find our other buddies.
And there's a logo of me and Brady sitting there in Stormtrooper helmets. So you don't get confused with the other imposter Escape Pod out there.
Yeah, because you don't want to do that.
No. Fuck them dudes.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Well, with that being said,
time.
May the Force be with you, and go blue.
Go blue. See you guys.
Deuces.
Brady doesn't have to pee this time.